Welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast. We are back. Man, we are rolling, man. We got episodes rolling every time, every week, every moment. Anytime you need us, we are here. But welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast. The guy beside me is the gap knowing, play calling offensive coordinator, now soccer coach of the year, is Coach Benji in the house. And I am along for the ride. I'm your defensive coordinator running a 5-2 cheat cover 3. You call it a 3-4, but I'm old. It's a 5-2. I am Coach Marks. We are the Coach and Coach podcast, and we are live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page so you will not miss a live show. Now, if you want to see us in action, you got to go to YouTube for that. But you can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the podcast, set your alerts so you won't miss a show. And if you're not too mean, drop us a rating. And you can rate us 1 star, 5 star. It don't matter. Just drop a rating and comment. Won't cost you a dime. But give us that 5 star anyway, though. But, Coach, it's a Wednesday night, man. It's a strange night to be doing a podcast. But how's it going tonight, man?
Man, it's good. It's the first night I've been home. We've been playing soccer and coaching soccer, and I've kind of wore out. I didn't realize it's 6U. I'm still really competitive and try to do my best coaching job. So I gave a lot of directions last night. Didn't really know what I was doing, but it's good to be here. And I'm looking at that picture back there. Like, y'all always talk about me with the refs, and it's good to see, some truth coming to light. It wasn't always me.
That's some fake news right there. That's not me. That's a AI version of myself. I don't know where I got that picture from. I'm trying to help Coach Jackson because, as you can see, it's his hand up there. He's the one doing something crazy. I'm trying to help him out. But, Coach, we ain't going to bring up the things that you have done, Jay-Z George, but I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone tonight. But, man, we are rocking and rolling tonight, man. The reason we're on tonight is because we got a football game tomorrow. We have a football game tomorrow night. The Bruce Trojans will be taking on East Union Sea Urchins, whatever their name is. I really hate their colors, man. If we got any East Union fan, I'm sorry, but those colors, man, they do something to me. But hey, you are what you are, and y'all have been a headache for me in girls powerlifting for the last 10 years. So I got to get my lick back one way or the other. So I'll take this way. But man, we're going to get this show started tonight, man. And, man, we got a lot we want to cover tonight. And as you can see, man, I'm trying to get more professional. Got my little buffer over my mic, man. And I think, Coach, you about to upgrade your game too, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, whenever the next show is, we'll have a lot better setup than a little, plug-and-play mic. But I'm excited about that. And I'm hoping that, if it comes in early or any of the upgrades happen quick, we may have to do like some kind of surprise something, just throw it together, get on here. Because I'm excited to mess with it.
Well, if we got to test it out, man, we'll just test it out. Man, we got to give Coach Chase Clark the MVP of the talk show, man, because, man, his episode has been crazy. And I went back and listened to it. I did not realize how crazy y'all stories was. And man, y'all are some strange individuals, man. y'all were funny, man. But just to hear those stories, man, it was pretty cool. Just to go back, even myself, I go back and listen to them. And one of the things that people were bringing up is the story about Alan Clark, man. And it's like a lot of people didn't realize because he come to me today. He said, Coach, I have learned no. He said, because Coach, man, one thing I give it to him, anytime you ask him to do something, Coach Alan Clark would do it. But I think he got to that point now where he said, well, I've learned how to say no. And I was like, Coach, man, congratulations. Thank you for joining us because I've been knowing how to say no. I will say no in a heartbeat. And, man, I think he's getting to that point where I want to be at. But he's in a different situation than I am. He's almost at the end. I still got a few more years to go. But we're going to get started, man, with our first segment. And, man, I tell you the truth. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Across the country. You ready to go, LeBron? Where's the powder?
Left it at home.
LeBron, fans want to know where you're taking your talents this year. What's your decision?
In this fall, Man, this is tough. In this fall, I'm going to be taking my talents to Hennessy VSOP.
VSOP.
This man had me thinking the whole day that he is about to retire. Coach, I text you, man. I said, Coach, you got to be ready. We might have to go on because I think LeBron is retiring. Man, he tricked me. I bought the sauce, man.
Man, he tricked several people. I saw where some people from LA, well, a man from LA is suing him for $865 worth of damages. Tickets for the last regular season.
Oh,
Lakers
man, he bought the tickets before it?
bought the tickets before the announcement.
Oh, man. Well, I'm telling you, man, he had everybody fooled. He had even John Morant everybody was tweeting. And I'm just thinking, man, like I'm in class, like, man, I can't wait till 11 o'clock get here. Like I'm shaking like I'm fiending over here. It was like 10:30 and I was like, man, it's almost 11 o'clock. I didn't even care about the class no more because LeBron is about to announce that he is about to retire. And he didn't. He did a freaking Hennessy commercial and he had us all trying to figure out, had me trying to figure out. I thought it was a big announcement for real, man.
Yeah, you had kind of got me on that train. For some reason, I got on Twitter, and Twitter was talking about how everybody on Twitter was like, "This is going to be some promotional ordeal." When when they said this was the day before, so I was like, Taco Bell about to get him for like you can get a 99-cent taco on Tuesdays or something, because you did the Taco Tuesday meme.
Well, you should have told me, man.
You had me in. I was
I
like,
fit into the sauce, man.
you had me in on the retirement, man, because he's been. Shoot, I was in the fourth grade his rookie year, and so I was kind of like, man, this is a big announcement. Like, I'm gonna watch it here and check
This
it
would have been huge, man.
out. Yeah,
This would have been huge, like it, because when you look at everything, you like, man, how much longer is he going to play? And this would have been typical LeBron, let me go ahead and make this big announcement that I'm about to retire. So when he done that, the first thing I thought about, every LeBron hater is going to eat him up. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, everybody that hate LeBron. I think he just kind of threw some feces at their face yesterday.
yeah, absolutely. And it's weird. I went through. I was a Bulls fan, so with Derrick, I love Derrick Rose from the time he came out. So I was a LeBron hater when he was with the Heat, and then his first couple years with the Cavs. And then as time's gone on, I've just kind of, I've not had he's not been an enemy to my team. So I'm kind of cool on the LeBron hate. I thought it was funny.
But I didn't have no problem with LeBron, until he went to the Lakers. I hate the Lakers. I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so we're inbred to hate the Lakers.
You know how I felt now.
Yeah, I hated the Lakers. So, and when he first did that decision that first time, I wanted him to go to Chicago so bad. I wanted him to go to the Bulls because, first of all, Derrick Rose was there. And then I was like, okay, man, I can go back to liking the Bulls again because I was a Bulls fan. But I was really a Jordan fan. I wasn't a Bulls fan. I thought I was a Bulls fan until Jordan left the Bulls, and I realized I wasn't a Bulls fan. I was a Jordan fan. So I wanted LeBron so bad to go to Chicago to bring that aura back to. I wanted to hear, I'm from. Well, you couldn't say North Carolina because he didn't go to college, but I just wanted to hear that stuff, man. And he went to Miami, so I kind of got on board a little bit, but it was commendable that he went back to Cleveland and won a championship. But when he went to the Lakers, I said, I'm out. I can't do LeBron. I can't do no Lakers. I don't like the Lakers.
Yeah, I didn't really have any feeling towards it when he left Cleveland. I kind of would have just rather him stay there because I did like him when I remember being a fourth grader having a LeBron jersey.
I wish you quit bringing up what grade you in because you're making me think. Because I'm probably working when LeBron is doing all of this stuff, and you keep talking about you were in the fourth grade, you was in the second grade, you was in the womb. Quit telling everybody because they're going to start figuring out sooner or later that I'm pretty old and you're not. So quit telling everybody what grade you was in, man.
Nothing like that. But I just remember, I didn't really care about him going to the Lakers. But I mean, I was a LeBron hater there when he went to Miami. I could not stand it. Like every time the Spurs, I kind of felt like Rashad for a week or two during the finals.
Yeah, Rashad, we don't know who he for no more. He just like his daddy. They change teams all the time. But when he did that, it made me look at some things. LeBron get criticized because of the finals record. He's 4-6. People don't look at that. He went to 10 finals. I never forget. I was talking to a coach a few years ago, and their team was making it to the state championship, but they wasn't winning the game. And he said something to me. He said, "Well, coach, you can't win it if you ain't there." I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So LeBron been in 10 finals. Been in 10 finals. So I start to think about other teams and players that's been in that situation or were in that situation, and their losses are not blew up like they do LeBron. For a long time, John Elway was on the losing end, and then he messed around and won two. The Buffalo Bills 4 straight Super Bowls, which I don't think nobody else is doing that again. But they lost all 4.
Yeah.
They talk about. I mean, they had to because is it to the point now that we're not going to appreciate LeBron's legacy until he's gone? I'm not dead, but out the league.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, I think definitely there'll be more appreciation when he does make that announcement. Like, and I think especially when you have those retirement tours, you get as he travels through all the stadiums, you'll get all the fun memories.
All that. He's asking for it.
I'm just wondering, like, he already has to, deal with the 4-6 finals record, and then not having the success in LA. That he wants to have. I'm just wondering if the longer he stays in the league and is not, because the league's getting younger, and it's new stars are emerging every year. Does it tarnish anything the longer he stays and is not?
Well, my thing is they did their top 100, and he ended up in the top 10. I think it was number 8.
Yeah.
Now that is ridiculous that him at his age. Crap, coach. If I play one teacher versus student right now, I'm going to need about 3 or 4 weeks off because I played last year and I was in pain. So the one thing that really there are some players that, man, if you don't go back and look at the video, you don't realize they were there. Jordan with the Wizards, I hated that. But crap, Akeem Olajuwon with the Toronto Raptors. These strange places for players that they just didn't belong. Seeing Karl Malone and Gary Payton with the Lakers, like, is he? I mean, I watch a lot of basketball, and I watched him last year. Coach, he really haven't lost a lot. Is he LeBron that he was in Cleveland? No. Is he the LeBron that he was in Miami? No. But his LeBron is still better than 70% of the league. Yeah. So if you're still in that conversation of being a top 10, top 15, I mean, he made another All-Pro last year. I mean, he was an All-NBA player again. Like, at his age, that should not be, but he's still doing it. What would you do in that situation?
I mean, I think from a monetary standpoint,
he don't need money.
Reason to keep playing. But for a love of the game situation, I mean, if you can do it, I'm the type, like, I'm just competitive. Like, that's why I picked up golf, and I would play every chance I got. I know it's not as physically taxing as other sports, but if I was healthy enough or athletic enough to play till whenever, I would do it just because I love it. So, I mean, if I was him, as long as I could do it and it wasn't a detriment to my health, I'd keep playing, especially at the level like you just talked about. I mean, he's 8th out of 100 top 100 players. I mean, I don't see a reason why he should, step away.
Coach, last year he played 70 games. He averaged 35 minutes a game. So they play 48 minutes. So that's a lot of minutes. Coach, he shot 51% from the field, shot 37, which is I think is a career high for him. He shot 37% from the 3-point line. He almost averaged a triple double last year. He averaged 24 points a game, almost 8 rebounds. He was 7.8 and 8 assists. So he almost averaged a freaking triple-double at 40, 41 years old.
That's another thing too that I don't think gets talked about enough with him is he's adapted and evolved to where I think he's able to take care of his body in this stretch of his career to where he's going to get extended mileage out of it. I think he's obviously in great physical shape, period, looking at him, but I think his game's evolved to where he can almost not only score in different ways, defend in different ways, but it's almost like maybe in evolving his game, it protects him somehow.
And then another thing, the hate, man, locally, nationally, man, people that hate LeBron hate LeBron. Now, I wasn't no fan of Kobe, but the reason why he's with the Lakers. But I did appreciate Kobe's work ethic. I did appreciate Kobe. You don't see no appreciation for what LeBron do. And that's the thing that bothers me because I see people post and, man, all he do is cry. Have you watched the NBA? People that say that don't watch NBA games. 98% of players cry after every call. I took my wife to a Grizzlies versus the Kings game, and we just so happened, man, we was one row behind front courtside. We was in the row right before courtside. Man, I'm telling you, every call, Sabonis, he got his hand out. I don't know if he speak good English or not, but everybody was complaining. You're not going to tell me that LeBron is the only one that cries after every call. But if you see people post everything, LeBron, all he do is cry. All he do is flop. All of them flop. Yeah. Everybody flop. And the one thing I can say about him, he don't waste time. I think we do more trying to people so like Shannon Sharp or Gilbert Arenas. I think they do more of trying to defend him. I've never saw LeBron try to defend nothing he done. He let people talk and he just go on.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, were we getting to a place where it was less hate and more appreciation in the second Cleveland stint, and then it kind of, because I felt like that's when it kind of changed for me back, and I always felt like he was thought a lot more fondly of in that second stint, and then it seemed like it just turned right back around when he became a Laker.
I think at one point he was trying to catch Jordan, and that's why he made that move. But then I think, once he saw the financial aspects of being in LA, it made more sense just to stay in LA because I do believe that, and he should have. I mean, that year that everybody was hurt and he was the only one doing crazy numbers in the finals. Golden State don't get Kevin Durant, they might swing off 3 championships in Cleveland. Kevin Durant saved Golden State because if he don't go to Golden State, that's why a lot of what Pat Bev said, they might be mad at Pat Bev when they was talking about Stephen Curry's championship. But if you're going to hold LeBron under the same light when it comes to championship, then you got to hold Steph there too. Pat Bev said it. He said, Steph, the Cavaliers were hurt 1 year. He had KD 2 years, and he had a hurting Boston Celtic team. So if you're going to hold LeBron in his championship, if it wasn't for D Wade and Bosh, they wouldn't have had it. Or I hate when they talk about Kyrie made the shot. If LeBron don't make that block, if he don't make that block on Andre Iguodala, then you don't even get that shot. And they forget the games that led to Game 7. He went ballistic. They were down 3-0, and he went ballistic. But they hold him under another microscope. But that's just how it is, man. I think people sometimes the people locally, it ain't no clickbait. That's just how they feel. They ain't got no show. And I watch people post, man, and they hate LeBron. And the only reason I defend the craft of the game. I don't defend him because he's a Laker, but I just defend the craft of the game because I love the game. I watch the game all the time. Even right now, I'm going back and forth trying to see what's going on with the WNBA because I told my mama that Vegas was going to sweep, and she told me no. And right now, Vegas is up 44-37 with 3:44 to go in the second quarter. So look like my Las Vegas Aces are going to find their way back to the championship after last year. And the best player in the WNBA, Asia Wilson, is doing Asia Wilson things again. Well, Coach, let's move on to the next subject. I tried to get you to come on this one, but you didn't really see that it was very exciting or noteworthy. So for you Cincinnati fans, I blame this on Coach.
HQ, where the Cincinnati Bengals have acquired quarterback Joe Flacco from the Cleveland Browns. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. The Bengals have been struggling since Joe Burrow went down with a toe injury, losing 3 straight to fall to 2-3 on the season with Jake Browning at the helm. They are on the road to play the Packers this Sunday afternoon.
The key word, she said, the Bengals have been struggling. Where do Joe Flacco helps you recover?
Man, I feel bad for him. He's going to play in front of behind one of the worst offensive lines. Like, I just pray for that man's health.
Coach, he can't move anymore. And you talking about, you told me today that they the 30th, 31st. And you're putting a non-mobile quarterback. Now, can he sling that thing? Yeah, I think that's what they're banking on. They can stretch the field because they still got good wide receivers. But crap, what good does it do if you cannot protect the quarterback and keep him upright to even make the pass? And the thing is, Joe Flacco is not going to scramble. He can't. He got knees like me.
Yeah. And he, I just think it's crazy too that maybe, he's one team away from playing for every team in that division. He's got to play for, if he somehow gets to the Steelers before it's all said and done, that man will have played in an entire division.
So looking at this trade, did we, local people, us, me and you, just the barbershop talk, media, did we overplay the Shadeur hate in Cleveland? Or did they have this strategic? Because to me, if Shadeur is a distraction, like everybody's saying he is, why not ship him to Cincinnati?
I think I'm starting to wonder if the whole deal with the Brown situation is that you had a head coach who might have been in that meeting room with the GM and whoever, decided like, hey, we're going with Shadeur, and the coach was like, you know how that happens? The coach was like, we drafted Gabriel, like, let's use this pick somewhere else. I'm just kind of curious if that might be where some of that's coming from. Like, the actual Browns front office is like, no, we like Shadeur, but the coach is like, he said this week that he hadn't made a decision if he's the number 2 quarterback. I'm starting to wonder if it's you had a coach who did not wanted to use that draft pick somewhere else, but the front office was like, no, we need Sanders. Let's get this quarterback and see if we can develop him. That's just what I'm starting to wonder if that's what the deal is.
If that's the deal, Coach, then what happened to coaches that do that?
Usually don't work out for them.
They get fired. So if he's not really because now what you just said, it makes more sense because, he's not making the trades. He's not making the decisions in that aspect. And they traded away. They went from 4 quarterbacks in the room to now 2. I don't really count Deshaun Watson. I think he's done. Even when he come back from his Achilles. I think Deshaun Watson is done. I saw enough tape last year that don't prove to me that he's going to ever recover to that Houston Deshaun Watson. So you basically got 2 quarterbacks in the fold. You got Gabriel and you got and people, like I said, people really wasn't sold on the performance of Gabriel. I didn't see the game. I just looked at the stats on it, and I just looked at I looked at the play-by-play. If I can't watch the game, I like to look at each play to see, okay, he threw a pass here. I'm just trying to see where the passes were thrown. ESPN they have a good setup to where you can look at where the pass was thrown and this and that and the other. So I didn't really get deep into that. But if that is the case, if Gabriel is not the guy, eventually, I mean, we at the point now. Shadeur is 1 injury, 4 interceptions away from being on the field.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not pick up Bailey Zappi? I thought I read that today. And see, that's where the press conference he had, the head coach had yesterday, where he said, I've got to make a decision on the number 2 quarterback, because I thought they brought in, and I may have read something that was not true. I just thought I read that somewhere either yesterday afternoon or.
I'm looking it up now. I'm checking their current roster. Hopefully they updated their rosters. I know they're 1-4. Boy, they tied with the Baltimore Ravens. See, I can't even say their name anymore, right? Because we look like the Browns. Well, you know, they both based out of Cleveland, so I guess they like twins or fraternal twins or something, because Baltimore come from Cleveland when the Browns first shut down. While I'm pulling that up, the thing is, like I said, what happens, and for him to even say that do sound like that you got some front office and you got some front office. Now, right now, what I'm seeing, they only have on injured reserve, they still got Deshaun Watson. I'm on a practice squad. They do have Bailey Zappi. Now, he hadn't been called up yet, but he is on the practice squad.
That's what I read some stuff where, and then hearing that quote, that I was wondering if he's going to get called up and they're going to have a battle for. I'm just saying, like, and it's totally
that's crazy, man.
Speculation. I don't have any proof of this, but it just, to me, sounds like a coach has a player on his team that there was also a valuable draft pick that he did not want that guy drafted. That's just what it seems like to me.
And it is so crazy because I feel like you're just you're gonna lose your job. Savetsky, you're gonna lose your job, buddy, because you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win many games this year. And if you are going back and forth with management, you will not be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns next year. So I know you can't hear me and you can't hear my show, but listen to me. You will be fired at the end of the season if you continue with this crap, because I don't know if he's the better candidate or not. We haven't saw enough tape, but you're digging yourself a hole that it's. Let me ask you this, because I'm not gonna say it's a similar situation when Washington selected RG3 and Kirk Cousins in the same draft. Now, it was clear that RG3 was the guy. I didn't understand why they drafted Kirk Cousins. I think he was out of Michigan State. I didn't get it at the time, but it made sense after RG3 got hurt. But this have been done before. I don't see these as the same situation.
No, I mean, it's like just a step further. I don't know if they thought if something happens to Flacco, we have 2 young quarterbacks now, and maybe one of them can win the job, and then you got a chance to move on and trade and get picks for Flacco later down the road. I don't know.
What picks are you gonna give? They got a 5th rounder for Flacco. Like who is standing in line? Like, hey, send me Flacco. I tell you who's standing in line. Probably need a quarterback right now. Mr. 9 interception, Geno Smith. I don't know what's going on in Vegas, but they had a chance to draft Shadeur and they didn't either. Now, I'm not saying Shadeur is the guy, and I am very the people that talk to me. It's documented that I was not in favor of his off-season. I hate to use the word shenanigans because he wasn't doing nothing illegal. He wasn't doing – it's just every time you look up, he was in Paris or he was in Germany. He's doing some type of fashion show. Instead, I always said, man, even if that's what you want to do, get the camera off of you, brother. You're trying to be a football player right now. You got time to do that. The NFL don't want people that want to live outside of that helmet. And because that's all he did, that's all people see. They don't know his work ethic, or they won't look at his work ethic because they saw him in the offseason when he was at Jackson State. They saw him at the offseason in Colorado. So now we don't really know how good. Well, we saw in college he was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me, you tell me Colorado wouldn't want him back right now. Because if you remember that junior year or that first year in Colorado, Travis was hurt for the rest of the season. And he still put up some amazing numbers. So you just can't put it all on Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Colorado would take him back in a second.
Oh, they need him. I mean, they just.
The one thing that Stefanski's got right now is that Gabriel played well enough. Yeah, it wasn't an outstanding performance, but for a rookie quarterback, he's buying time. He can ride with Gabriel till he messes it up. So I don't know where it goes, but I think that Gabriel was Stefanski's guy, and
that's why he's going with him.
And I think that the front office wanted Sanders.
Well, I've been in it. I don't care where you work at. Front office will win that situation. Well, Coach, we got a new segment that we're doing, and we tried this a few weeks ago, but we call it, my favorite word when things are not favorable is what the heck. I don't cuss, so I had to come up with different things that I can say. I used to use Sam Thunder, but that was Coach Ferguson's favorite word, so I don't want to use his. But usually, if you was on our sideline, you heard what the heck a lot because we were in a lot of what the heck moments, whether it be offense, defense, special teams, or just even getting off the bus. It was always what the heck, man. You fell off the bus. We knew that the time that guy right there behind me, let me point to the right one, Chris Davian, left the tape when he's supposed to have been over the managers. He leave all the rapping tape in Bruce. So we're all the way. Where were we at? Jay-Z George?
I think so.
We was in Jay-Z George with no athletic tape.
Long road trip.
It
was a long road trip. I do remember that.
We get all the way there and we don't have no rapping tape because of him. I hope he's listening to the show. Thanks a lot, Chris Davian. So we had a lot of what the heck moments. So this segment, we want to give credit where credit is due. We have a what the heck moment. And we even got a soundtrack for it, man. We're gonna play the soundtrack first, and then we're gonna go to the what the heck moment because it's deserving of it. It's very stupid when I seen it, and I said he's a perfect candidate for the what the heck moment. So let's go ahead and play the intro to what the heck.
What the heck?
What the heck moment is brought to you by those two girls that you heard singing. That is Emma and that is Mary Alex. They were struggling with the national anthem, so I spiced it up for them. I said, we gonna make y'all famous. So they are now the soundtrack for the what the heck moment. Let's play the what the heck moment.
Didn't feel great about it, honestly. And so in the team meeting, I addressed it. I apologized to Omari, apologized to the team. And I just told him I kind of let the moment of what happened get the better of me there. Obviously, like I tried to be emotionally stable and calm because my job is this morning.
That was Coach Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you watch the game, the running back, I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm not finished trying to pronounce it. It's a whole bunch of syllables and a whole bunch of words. But anyway, you can go look it up. But he dropped the ball before he got to the end zone. And there was the cameras follow you. When you make a mistake, the camera's going to follow you. So the camera followed him over there. So head coach Jonathan Gannon decided to go talk to him. And when he talked to him, he put his hands on him. I think I warned Coach Jackson a few years ago when he put his hands on me in Coffeyville when I was trying to argue a call. He put his hands on me. I told him, if you put your hands on me again, we're going to be fighting on the sideline. So this man decided to grab a grown man by punch him or whatever he did, push him on national TV, and he decided to give this half-hearted apology and how emotions got the best of me. And Coach, have you, man, I just don't, if my principal came and pushed me, I don't know how I would react.
Yeah, that because in the NFL, that's two grown men. I hated
grown men.
And that could have went a lot worse for the coach. Got roughed up a little bit, but not a good look. Things aren't going well in Arizona, especially when you get Viva.
This is a grown man, and I was listening to a podcast, and they was like, this man, I think it was T.J. Hushmanzada used to play with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he got that good hair, and you don't really look at him as some. He said, but man, we've been fighting. And you sit there, and even in high school, man, if you bump a kid now, they'll try to swell up on you. And this is a grown man. And hats off to the running back who held his. I'm finna take a shot. I'm gonna try to pronounce his name. Y'all bear with me. But hats off to him not reacting off of it because and he's a rookie. And they made a valid point. They know who to do this stuff to. Can you imagine somebody grabbing Marshawn Lynch or pushing Marshawn Lynch like that?
Or like you think about, I always say like there's certain personality traits to different position groups. Like think if you'd have done that to a DB, like he's not. They're kind of. They think they are alpha dogs, like shut you down at any moment. They got that mindset. Or receivers the same. Like running back, probably one of the better positions, I guess, as far as personality traits of a position. For that, he got lucky there because those are the more guys that they're willing to take the punishment. They have to run between the tackles 20 times a game. I think that plays out differently depending on who it is.
Coach, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I don't know. We see, I got hot just thinking about it. All right, the running back name is Imari Demercado. He's from TCU, and if you get a chance, just YouTube it, you'll find it. And for him, it's some things you just can't do because there's cameras everywhere, man. There's cameras everywhere. And you doing that. Now, we have seen where Travis Kelce and his coach bump into each other, but that's their little deal. They do that. That's how they communicate with each other. And you saw where Travis come by and bump him intentionally, and then he'll come back and he'll bump. They do that and they'll talk about it. But for him to react the way that he reacted, and you're 2-3. You're 2-3, and you shouldn't be 2-3 because y'all got Kyler Murray listed at 5'10". Kyler Murray is 5'8". We the same height. But anyway, and I weigh more than him. So maybe I'm the next NFL quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. All I got to do is, I can't run no more. But still, you just don't grab no grown man like that because now what if he would have just turned around and clocked him, and then he would have got cut?
He'd been out of a job.
Not only out of a job, just a good example. I finally heard the story about Latrell Sprewell and P.J. Carlesimo. Now, Latrell Sprewell, many people that know, I named my son after Latrell Sprewell. Don't know why. His name was supposed to be Latrell Sprewell Marks. They stopped me from doing it, so it ended up being Alexander. So kudos to them. I'm glad they stopped me from doing that. But the real story, if you go look at the documentary, a lot of people don't talk about what P.J. done. How P.J. continued to pick on Latrell Sprewell, just continued to do, and he just kept on. And then Latrell Sprewell had enough. And when he done what he done, he became a pariah. While P.J. get to walk off scotch-free as the victim, but P.J. Carlesimo was not a victim in the situation. So it's unfortunate that if Demercado would have done something back, he'd have been cut or out the league. When nobody touched him, he'll been known as a diva. He's uncoachable. He's a cancer in the locker room. And this coach, he gets by with a $100,000 fine, and he gets to go on about his business. That's one thing that I hate that would have been spent the wrong way if he would have reacted.
Yeah, I agree. So he might have boosted his stock a little bit for taking his coaching and.
Well, he still dropped the ball before he got to the end zone. He still dropped the ball before he got to the end zone. Now y'all better learn how to celebrate 3 yards in. Y'all better quit dropping the ball before you get to the end zone. And it was a 72, 73-yard run. I mean, celebrate, jump in the end zone, turn a flip, don't do what Marshawn Lynch did because it's a wonder that he didn't knock his spine out of place, jumping up and grabbing himself and falling backwards. But that was Marshawn Lynch. He wasn't wrapped too tight anyway. But let's move on, Coach. As we go to this next segment, and I do want to spend a little time on this because I do have some personal insight on this. Let me turn it up. I usually mess everything up and then I get there and don't have my stuff set.
Today, prayerfully, I'll be right back tomorrow because I don't miss practice. I don't plan on doing such, but it is what it is, and we found what we found. We knew what it was. So I have a wonderful team of doctors in UC Health and a wonderful team of trainers here to make sure and ensure my health. Having a procedure.
That was Deion Sanders. He had his 16th procedure to clear out blood clots in his leg. 16th. I found the story in 2021. He had surgery for a dislocated toe and nerve issue. Due to that surgery, he had complication and started to develop blood clots. And ever since that surgery, he's been having blood clots. Now, the doctors had recommended that because he was having so much trouble in that area, to amputate his leg from the knee down. Deion refused. So they ended up cutting off 2 of his toes that was not getting it. The toes that they worked on for the nerve damage was not getting. So he got that done, but he continued to get blood clots in his leg, and he have had his 16th surgery on the blood clot issue. And we kind of touched on it on this weekend show. But Coach, man, that is tough.
It is, and you kind of wonder, like, can they not put him on some kind of thinner that would kind of curb some of that? Like, I just feel like, that's tough if every once in a while you're just going to keep having to go into surgery. Like, that's just I couldn't imagine having that many operations done in that short of time, and then not, knowing when the next one's going to be or if you fixed it or not.
His regimen is incredible. Like, what they have to do to his legs just to get him to function is, it's now become everyday life for him. And and one thing about Deion, he always upbeat. You can say he's playing it for the camera or not. I don't know. Maybe that's who he is. Maybe he don't have that type of fear in him. But as when you're looking at his sons and his daughters and his mom, his mom stay with him. At what point do you say, we got to get you in a position to where you're not, risking your life anymore?
I think it all goes back to kind of like what we said with LeBron. Like, financially, he has no need to put himself through. Because coaching at that level is not only it's mentally, physically, spiritually draining, especially with the type of competitor that it takes to be on that level, like the grind of it.
Yes.
But man, you know that there's a love for the game there that's just, it's got to be hard to say I'm walking away. I couldn't imagine having, I don't know how old Deion is, but that being probably, his life has been consumed in it, and then he's, because of a health reason, is forced out, not because of he can't do it mentally or he's not good at what he does. It's tough.
Coach, he turned 58 in August. August the 9th, he turned 58. And do you think this is the reason that he won't leave, because he don't want to leave under that mantra that I was forced out because of sickness or injury? If I walk away from this, I'm going to walk away from this.
Well, it kind of, that goes back to being like an ultimate competitor. We're going to beat this, and I can leave on my own terms when I've defeated it. So I can see that.
Coach, you have two sons and a daughter. I have uh, three sons. My wife have four sons, so I got seven sons, and I have a daughter. And I was in this situation with my oldest son because I looked at this and I was like, okay, what decision do you make when their life is? A lot of people didn't know what my son dealt with as a player because he was the type of person that didn't want. I think you actually witnessed one of them, but he just didn't want nobody to know. I even had to make him tell his college coaches, "I'm like, dude, you cannot hide this." But my son, he had seizures. He was diagnosed and started taking medication when he was like in the Trail was maybe 11. Now he had his first seizure when he was 10, and we really didn't know what it was, and they continued. And every time we would go to the doctor, they would not see it. And I think that when they finally seen it, he was in the ninth grade, so they would have made you be in the 10th. And I think y'all was at the weight room. And thank God Rashad was in there because, I had taught them what to do if he have a seizure. And I never forget, Coach Ray was so spooked that I remember Coach Ray calling me and I said, Coach, how long has he been down? And Coach said, about 10, 15 minutes. I said, Coach, he'll be dead if he had a seizure for 10, 15 minutes. But it scared because I think what happened, they said he squatted, he racked, and he went into the seizure. So Trail was faced with the issue we were faced with the decision: do we continue to play football with this being a neurological disorder? Not only that, he had to deal with asthma. He had asthma very bad, and he had bronchitis very bad. So he had all of those things playing in. And I never forget, I told him one time when he was in the 10th grade because he called himself quitting because he wasn't getting no playing time. And I remember that's where the whole "don't be no punk" come from, that everybody was using DBNP. Well, that comes from me arguing with my son. I mean, don't be no punk, DBNP. I can't even get my acronyms right. But it all comes from that conversation. He had called himself quitting. And I remember driving him back out there, and I said, don't nobody quit in my house because I didn't want him to go through the same things that I went through as a high school player and quitting everything. I didn't want that to be his thing. And I remember telling him, I said, don't be no punk, man. If you're going to play, you're going to play. And I remember telling him this one time, and he told somebody because he didn't understand. And at the time, I don't think I understood. I said, son, you got to be willing to die for this if you want it like that. Now, what I meant by that is, son, I'm not going to let you die. If your life depends on, like, if the doctors say one more hit, he's dead, then you're through with football, buddy. If they said one more hit, he's going to be disabled, you're through with football. One more hit, he's paralyzed, you're through with football. What I was trying to get him to understand was the mentality that he had to have. And Trail playing football was the most painful experience. I was so glad when he played his final game because I felt like I no longer went, especially when he went to Kansas. When he went to Kansas, I was no longer physically in arm's reach. One thing he did for me while he was in Kansas, he would call me before the game, and he'll FaceTime me at halftime, and FaceTime me after the game because if he got taken out of the game, they were not a big school, so you didn't have cameras pan. So if I didn't see him in the game, and if I don't see him in the game for 3 or 4 possessions, now I'm wondering what's wrong. What's wrong? And he'd always FaceTime me at halftime to let me know, okay, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. But when he played high school, I'll never forget his first game his senior year. Marcus Green, North Punatop. Trail was not paying attention, and Marcus Green took Trail to the twilight zone. I mean, he cracked back him, had his feet dangling. And I said, yep, he's done for the night. I said, he's done. And Trail will tell you to the day, he said, Dad, I think I got a concussion that night. And then he went on to score 2 touchdowns that game. But and they won. But every single hit, I was like, when he played at Kahoma, I missed the only game I missed is when they played at Pearl River on a Saturday. I didn't go all the way down there on no Saturday. But I went to every game because I felt like I needed to be there in case something happened. So if those that care about Deion, I understand what they're going through because I wanted Trail to be successful. and I wanted him to live out his dream. And for him, he got to live out. Trail wasn't the best player on the team, but he went on to play 4 years of college football. That's more than I can say. That's more than a lot of people can say. But he had to play it with this on his shoulder. That's why it's so difficult for him to coach now, because he see kids now that if you step on their toenail, they don't want to practice. Or if somebody, if they pinch their hand on the door, then they out for 3 weeks. So that's why he gets so upset when kids don't want to play, or when you start running, everybody got asthma, and he's like, dude, I got asthma for real. I can't breathe. Like, I literally have to play with a pump in my, because he went through all of that. But yet at the same time, I allowed him to play. It was difficult. Coach, you got 2 boys, and I seen your boys. They are different type of boys. They rough and rugged, and they gonna want to play all of these dangerous and deadly sports. God forbid, if you're faced with that situation, how do you handle that?
Well, I had seizures when I was a kid too, and I remember my mom taking me to Memphis, and that was brought up like, is he okay to play football? And he trusted the doctor's judgment that it was. I mean, I guess I would always be, if the kids want to do it, I'm not trying to hinder them anyway, but it's different when it's your kid,
Yeah.
and I guess I would just have to listen to the doctor's advice. Whether, if the doctor said no, then it's no. If he said it's okay, and that's what they want to do. I mean, something could happen when you put that helmet on and pads on. Anything can happen, and it could be totally unrelated to any condition you have. It's just a risk you take, but it's
we all filled out that form.
Yeah, it's a game that I love, and I want, if my kids want to experience it, I would do anything I could to make sure that they could play. But if there were situations like that, it ain't gonna. I'll say this: it wouldn't be up to me. Mama's gonna be like, kids ain't playing, and that's probably where it would. And then I'm gonna be like, hey, what Mama said. I guess that's how it's gonna be.
And I do believe that these injuries that led to this, like the nerve damage in his toes, happened from football. I mean, and you couple that with no real off season to recover, because he always played baseball as well. So, and if you look at LeBron James toes, or you look at Shaq toes, and you look at a lot of these football players' hands and how their fingers are crooked, crap. Even me powerlifting, man, my elbows, they hurt. My knees, they hurt, because I spent 12 years powerlifting and lifting things that the body wasn't designed to lift. And now at 48, man, my elbow, I hurt my elbow about 3 weeks ago benching 225, and my elbow is still kind of hurt now. I haven't even went to free weights anymore here lately. I just do machine weights, and anytime I feel it, I just kind of ease off of it. So this sport will do something to you, and it'll leave you in a place that you don't want to be at. So prayers to Deion. I hope this one solves it. It's painful to see him limp. Man, I love Deion when I was playing ball. Man, when I played, man, when I was with the Little League Braves, I got 24 because I wanted to be Deion Sanders. Even though I tried to stand, my batting stance was like Ricky Henderson because I was trying to walk. So I feel like the lower I got, the better it would be. And Ricky Henderson had that low stance. So I like, if I do that, I probably get to walk because I wasn't hitting no ball. That wasn't happening. So everything crap. When I practiced, he was prime time. I was time prime. I was the reverse of Deion. So to see him, struggle health-wise, because when we look at athletes like that, we don't think they're going to ever be in a situation where they're struggling with their health. Even my years as bodybuilding and powerlifting, to see Ronnie Coleman like he is now. Ronnie Coleman can't even stand up. To see all these big, inhumane guys now look like feeble men now. It just blows your mind. It just blows your mind. So we prayers out to Deion and his family. Hopefully this surgery gets him back going, and maybe it'll get Colorado back going. Well, Coach, now we got time. It's time to move on to the high school preview, and we're going to talk about some high school ball, and then we got one more subject, and then we're going to get on out of here. But we're going to talk about some high school ball. Tomorrow, we got the Bruce Trojans facing off with the East Union Sea Urchins, and we will be in the house. We won't have a live show like we did last week, but we will be there to give you some pregame and some postgame. You're going to have to follow us on TikTok, though. It will not be on YouTube, so you'll have to follow us on TikTok. Go to Coach and Coach Podcast on TikTok, and you'll be able to see what we have to say. But, Coach, this game, I actually talked. I was able to talk to a player today. I'm not going to name the player. I told him, I said, man, I'm going to protect you. But I was very curious. Of how Monday went, because losing an emotional game like you lost, I was curious how Monday went. And the report he gave me, he said, Coach, it was the most motivated I ever seen this group. After that loss, you thought there'd be some hangover. He said, man, everybody was focused. He said, probably one of the best Monday practices we ever had.
Well, that's good, because it's always hard, win or lose. I always thought that the Monday practice was the hardest one to get the kids back into the groove of things anyway. You had a weekend sitting in the air, and then you go back and get out in a muggy heat, or we always kind of had a lift on Mondays, and you're breaking down new opponent film. It just was always hard to win or lose. I felt like the closer game day got, the more the kids got mentally prepared to go out there and compete in practice. So for that to say that that might be the best practice you've had, or the best Monday practice you've had, I think that's pointing things towards the right direction, not only for the rest of the season, but I think that's when you look at the big picture, that's a good sign of where the program's headed as a whole.
Yeah. And we both been in that situation. We, like I said, that Monday, and that's what he said. He was like, usually after the weekend, it takes a little bit to get going, and then a short week. They practice Monday, they practice Tuesday, had a walkthrough today. So when you got a short week like that, and then you going into a Thursday game, and it's a division game, you gotta be ready to roll. And kudos to those coaches, because I mean you had to get them going to put them in a position to be able to bounce back from that game, because that was a tough loss on Friday night. And when you look at a few plays here, a few plays there, you're looking at another ball game. We won't go into deep. We'll let you bring your keys to win tomorrow. So you're gonna have to tune in tomorrow to see the keys to win. We're not gonna leak you the keys to win right now. You need to go to our TikTok page. You need to go ahead and become a follower. That way you can get that content tomorrow. But just looking at 2A, as you know, on this weekend, Velma Jackson beat Eupora, and not overlooking who our first round opponent may be. It could either be Hatley, Hamilton. Pretty much look like Baldwin is going to win that division. I'm pulling it up as we speak. I don't know why Crown Jewel came up on my screen, because I am not going to look at it, because I am not buying another. I'm not buying another thing, because I don't know what they got going on. But yeah. But looking at what we're faced with in 2A, we match up with that Region 1 in the first round, and pulling it up right now, and that Region 1, that's going to be that's Baldwin. I think Baldwin is leading that division right now, even though everybody haven't been in ain't nobody played a lot of games right now in the division. But that Region 1 division, that's going to be Baldwin, Hatlin, Hamilton, and Walnut. So all four of them are going to make it in. It's just all about seeding right now. And I'm looking. It looked like we're either going to end up with Hamilton or Hatley. I don't think it'll be Walnut. I don't think we'll get that. But it ended up be Hatley or Hamilton in that first round. But the beauty of it, they got to come here. Now, in that second round is where it gets a little sticky and it gets a little tricky, because in that second round, that's where we have to deal with Region 3. We go into Region 3. I'm pulling them up right now, even as we speak. I'm getting it up. There it is. Eupora. Let me click on them. Now, Eupora did lose to Velma Jackson this weekend, and that's going to put them in a slight bind. That's Region 4. Excuse me, Region 4. So they do have 5 teams in their division. Eupora right now is currently 3rd. And basically what we'll do, we'll get whoever, if their first or second seed win in the first round, then we would have to travel to either, we'll have to travel to that number 1 seed in that second round. So, and right now, I think it's a toss-up right now. East Webster is leading the way in that division, but you never know what might happen. You know, you don't know if Eupora might bounce back and it it could very possibly end up in a 3-way tie with East Webster, Velma Jackson, and Eupora. So, if that do happen, then you're looking at another situation. So Bruce we got I ain't gonna say our work is cut out for us, but Bruce have a chance to make some noise and make sure you join us tomorrow for that end game pregame. Join us for pregame and postgame. Calhoun City is going into a bye week, and I did want to ask you about that. How do you handle a bye week in high school?
Well, I never had one. I think if it was me, I think you find a way to open up competition. Like, I'm not really worried about, like, I don't think you have to take 2 weeks to, obviously you're studying. I think as a coaching staff, you study your opponent. That'll be a division game for them, right? Next. So
it ain't gonna matter. But yeah. You can just keep doing it to stay fresh, but it ain't gonna matter.
I'm not saying that you go into 2 weeks of installing a game plan and practice. You may show them some looks on one day, but I think it's almost like you put, if you put an offensive, say we're going to try some things on offense. When I put my scout D on, instead of it being the next opponent's scout D, we get back in our defense so I can evaluate and see if they can compete for a chance to get some more playing time. I think that's how I would view it. I'm not saying we go out there and kill each other and beat each other down, but I would treat it as a chance to evaluate and see if we're missing anything where somebody could get on the field that could contribute.
Now, I've been in that situation. I've been in that situation before. I did it in Coffeyville, where we was in that situation in Coffeyville where we had a bye week, and Coach, it was the most horrible thing that I had ever experienced because it just seemed like nothing. It just felt wrong. It felt like it was dangerous. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was the week that we got Lee Chambers hurt because we went live and me and Coach Jackson wasn't supposed to go live, and we went live and he got hurt. And when Coach Baldwin left with Lee, you would have thought okay, let's chill out. But I was running the scout defense. He was running the scout offense. We got to talking. And you know how me and Coach Jackson are. We started being competitors, and we started using our players as pawns, and we had a full out scrimmage. And I was waiting for Coach Baldwin to call us and like, are y'all crazy? Because we had our starting quarterback. I told him if he take that red jersey off and get hit like a man, and he took the jersey off, and we started sticking for real. So sometimes if you got if your coaches ain't very smart, if you got coaches that ain't very smart, you're gonna put your team in a bad situation, and sometimes that bye week can put you in a sticky situation. But I did want to go over the Max Prep's polls for this week. And Max Prep top 10, you got West Point still at number 1. Tupelo comes in at number 2. You got Madison Ridgeland Academy at number 3. Starkville is number 4. D'Iberville is number 5. Oxford checks in at number 6. You got Ocean Spring, number 7. You got West Harrison is number 8. Petal is number 9. And Brandon wraps up the top 10. When you look at the classification, in 1A, you got Calhoun City number 1. You got Hollydale Simmons number 2. You got Biggersville number 3. And it's looking like it's going to be a Calhoun City and Biggersville North Half Championship and it's looked like it's going to be in Biggersville. If they both do what they're supposed to do, you looking for a game and a half that's going to be at the north half. So I know that's a long time from now, but if that do happen, Coach, we are on the road to Biggersville that night. Taylorsville checks in at number 4, and you got Lumberton at number 5. In 2A, and 2A really ticked me off because I don't know how they're doing their seating and everything, but the way they are treating Bruce is straight up blasphemy to me.
I haven't looked at that poll in
Oh my gosh.
because I was like, it just doesn't. I think did they like account for opponent record or something? Like there's a metric on there, but it doesn't give you like a legend or whatever you want to call it that tells you what that metric is. And which I'll say whatever metric they're using, it doesn't favor us, but I hadn't paid attention to it because I was like, some of this is just kind of crazy. Like there was like teams that were like 2 and 3 that were ranked.
Yeah. And you know what? The Daily Journal, they're doing the same thing, even in their Big Ten and Little Ten. If you go look at it, it's the same type of stuff. I think they're just all piggybacking off each other. But in 2A, they got Heidelberg at number 1. They got East Webster at number 2, Charleston number 3, Wesson is number 4, and Clarkdale is number 5. In 3A, they got Noxubee County number 1, Raleigh number 2, Choctaw County number 3, Union number 4, and West Marion number 5. In 4A, you got Columbia number 1, Louisville number 2, Kosciuszko number 3, Macomb number 4, and an undefeated Senatobia number 5. In 5A, you got West Point number 1, Holmes County Central number 2, South Jones number 3, Old Brook number 4, and Lanier number 5. That's in 5A. I don't know what happened to my 6A. So we're just going to omit 6A. I don't know what happened to it. But in 7A, we got Tupelo number 1, Starkville number 2, D'Iberville number 3, Oxford number 4, and Ocean Spring number 5. So that's a good segue as we go into the Lafayette and Oxford breakup. Reports have been out that, the reports are true. Lafayette and Oxford are ending their partnership with playing each other in every sport indefinitely.
Yeah, the Oxford Lafayette Twitter beef is just crazy in general, talking about Oxford's annexing land and taking all the kids from Lafayette. Like there's some bad blood there.
Yeah, it's rough. So if you don't like cussing, stay off of their pages because man, people, they are lighting each other up on that. Coach, before we get out of here, we need to go over college football this weekend, man. You got some numbers for us. And this is a segment that we call Benji's Dollars. Let me cue. I'm supposed to have the music queued up, man. This is a segment we call Benji's Dollars. Is he going to help us this week in college football?
Yeah, what can I do for you, Rod? You just tell me, what can I do for you?
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Benji, you got to show me the money.
Well, I'll try to. I've had the last 2 weeks have been really good to me. So now that I'm like, hey, let's turn this into a segment if it goes bad. And y'all take my advice,
I'm going to blame you.
But we'll go over the SEC games. We'll start out number 5, A&M versus Florida. A&M's getting giving Florida 7.5 points. I kind of like Florida, at least for a cover. I think when you look at A&M, I don't think they're the best offensively. Like they run the ball really well, but I think Florida's got a good run defense. I don't think they're as good through the air. I think this is closer than what Vegas thinks. I'm not. If Florida won the game, I'm not totally shocked. I think if they could find a way to consistently put together what they did last week, they're a lot better team than what the record shows. It's just, man, you can't never tell what you're getting with them. But I've got a Florida cover. So moving on, we got number 6 Oklahoma and Texas, and Texas is a 2.5 point favorite. I got Oklahoma outright. I think you saw. I think that Oklahoma's defensive front is as good as the Texas, or as good as the Florida front. Texas has not shown that they can block anyone. You know, we talked about it about Arch Sunday and how I think right now he's just struggling. I think it's part of a young quarterback developing. He's struggling to throw guys open. I think he sees guys open and he throws it, and then by the time the ball's there, it's either way off the mark or it's late. And offensively, I don't think they're going to do enough to win a game against Oklahoma. So I've got Oklahoma there. If you disagree, Coach, on any of this, chime in. Let me know.
I'm following you because I'm writing this stuff down.
We got number 8, Alabama, at number 14, Missouri. I think I've got Alabama. Alabama is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to go with Bama. I do think Missouri is a really good football team. I think that Alabama's found an identity. They're running the ball really well. I think they figured that out over the last few weeks. And I think that as good as Missouri could possibly be, this is going to be the first real, like this is real. You know, I think the best team they've played so far is South Carolina. I just think that this is just going to be a little bit different of a matchup. Ty Simpson's playing really well too. I think he may be the number 1 quarterback in the league right now, with Chambliss in a close second. So I've got Alabama -2.5 there. We got number 10, Georgia, at Auburn. Georgia is a 3.5-point favorite. I got Georgia. I think until Breeze can figure out the offense, I'm not a believer in Jackson Arnold. I think Auburn's makes their hay running the football, and they're going to run against one of the best run defenses in the country. I think they're ranked top 10 in run defense. Now, where Georgia struggles is they don't get a lot of pass rush. You can throw on them, but Jackson Arnold ain't proved that he can throw, that he's a throwing quarterback. So until he can prove that, and he ain't shown me yet, I'm rolling with the Dogs. So we got number 11, LSU versus South Carolina. Now, on paper, I wrote down that I had South Carolina. LSU's a 9.5-point favorite. On my ride home, I was going over these picks again because this was one of the last one after I wrote them all down. This is the one I kept going back and forth on. I'm going to stick with South Carolina. I want to cover. I think they cover the 9.5. I'm not impressed with LSU's done nothing to impress me offensively.
Where's that game?
It's in Baton Rouge. I think this is like a touchdown game. I don't think it's a 2-score game. Just because I don't think LSU can do enough offensively to run away with it. Sellers is athletic enough to make some plays. I see a very low-scoring game. Like I could see this being like a 17-10 game. I think Carolina's played some decent defense outside of that Vanderbilt game, and I think Vanderbilt's pretty good. Both teams are kind of fighting for their playoff lives. I just think it's going to be a hard-fought game. 9.5's a lot when you look at that offense. I just don't have any faith in LSU's offense. They don't run the ball well. Nussmeier's, he's either hurt or something's happened to him. I don't see LSU winning. I think it's a touchdown game. We got number 12, Tennessee versus Arkansas. Tennessee is an 11.5-point favorite. I don't think you could see a defensive performance in the SEC worse than what you saw with Notre Dame and Arkansas. And then they go on to fire their entire defensive staff, it seemed like. Tennessee, Heupel they're really good on offense. They're pretty good on defense. So I've got a Tennessee cover. I don't think that firing your head coach and then firing a lot of assistants I just don't see how you're going to change that defense in a week's time. I don't think it's so bad. I don't see a fix. And I think Tennessee's really good offensively. So especially with Heupel, man, he schemes it up. He's got good receivers. Aguilar's I would say he's probably the number 3 quarterback in the league behind Ty Simpson and then Chambliss. in my opinion. So I've got a Tennessee cover. And then the big line that I've struggled with with a lot too. We got number 4 Ole Miss, 11:45 a.m. on the SEC network against Wazoo. They're a 32.5 point favorite. And then, but I'm not betting with my heart. I've looked at the numbers. I've got Ole Miss covering the 32.5 point line because uh, we've seen Wazoo's gave up 59 in 2 appearances. In one of those games, 42 of that was scored at the half. I think Ole Miss will score at will. And then, can you name a time that Kiffin, no matter when, you can go back to the Arkansas game before Georgia last year. They're up 63 to whatever, and his starters are still playing deep into the fourth quarter.
Oh, he's throwing that football.
Kiffin rolls with his guys.
Yeah.
And if they're on the field, they're playing ball.
They're playing ball. He's throwing that football. That's just it is what it is. He's throwing the football.
Throwing the football. So I just don't think he's going to pull the starters and they're going to run the ball and slow the game down. I think his guys are going to play. Chambliss is I think he's like number 3 in the Heisman odds, and he's not like, seriously, go look at it. Like he's in the top 5 of Heisman odds. So, and he didn't play week 1 really or week 2, so he's got a chance to boost some numbers here.
They need the numbers.
I think defensively, this team is a lot better than what I think. I think we put way too much into that one half against Arkansas. They gave up 10 points in the second half of Arkansas. It was a bad first half. I think the defense is proven from that pretty much halftime of Arkansas on that they've improved. I've got an Ole Miss covered.
Coach, I'm going to get you to send me all those things, and we're going to let you know that if I get to go on a vacation or not. But Coach, man, this has been what we got. I tell you what, Coach, this is what we'll do. Friday night, 6:00. Let's come back on and let's go in depth with SEC. Let's look at the Heisman candidates. Let's look at all the stuff college football, and I will do my fantasy football NFL day.
Okay.
How about we just come back Friday and we do college football and we do NFL, and I'm pretty sure a story will pop up between now and Friday. And so make sure that you join us tomorrow, but you got to join us on TikTok. We will be on TikTok tomorrow. We will do pregame with Coach Benji giving us the points of the game, and then me and Coach Benji will be. Again, we might have a special guest to come and talk with us during that pregame. He did say he'll be in town, so I told him he could just stop on by, just give us a little insight, and we'll just go from there. But man, good show tonight. To everybody that listens to the show, we appreciate you. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. If you want to catch our live shows, you got to catch our live shows on YouTube. If you want to catch our what we call Hurry Up Offense, you got to get that. That is exclusively on TikTok. So make sure that you're a follower on TikTok. For all things podcast, Coaching Coach Podcast, you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Set your notifications so you can get every episode. Give us a rating. Give us a message. Message us. Let us know how we're doing, what we need to do better on. Man, I promise you, you're not going to hurt my feelings. My feelings are stoned now. You can tell me what you need to tell me. But with Coach over there about to get his new stuff, and I'm about to get some more stuff, man, we are moving on up. We are just like the Jeffersons, man. We're getting better. Coach, any other thing?
On Friday night. I'm excited about that. We'll see you.
All right, we will see y'all tomorrow night at Trojan Field. Until the next time, this is Coach Benji. I'm Coach Mark. You are the Coach in Coach Podcast.